Sensor Studio monitors the latest developments as the situation in the United States shifts significantly. The United States Department of Defense has urgently ordered over 800 generals and admirals worldwide to return to the United States immediately. We don't have exact confirmation yet. Let's examine the situation and get started. Pete Eggs's United States Secretary of Defense took unprecedented action on September 25. The deadline is next Tuesday, September 30. All United States generals and admirals were urgently called to the Marine Corps base in Quantico, Virginia, but the official reason is still undisclosed. However, this is quite a significant event. Typically, 4-star generals in the United States meet in Washington, District of Columbia about every 6 months. This time, over 800 brigadier generals were urgently summoned. Reportedly, no other modern case has seen everyone of that rank or higher called together. It seems something major happened in the United States since they urgently called all brigadier generals and above. Even generals who are already commanding operations in the field are now facing being called back. Because of this, there are concerns within the military about possible operational gaps. The United States Department of War spokesperson said Secretary of War Reshuffle called an emergency meeting to deliver a message to American generals next Tuesday. The specific details or purpose have reportedly not been disclosed within the military. United States military officials said people are very concerned and unsure of the meaning. Some are unhappy that overseas commanders must respond to this call-up and have questioned its validity. People also question why they must travel to the United States instead of joining the meeting by video conference. This has led to speculation about the reason for the emergency call-up. Some say the emergency call-up was to dismiss a large number of generals, while others say it was to prepare for war. Either way, it's not a good sign. Things are already chaotic. If an active commander temporarily moves to Daegu, a major theater will inevitably have a short-term vacancy. They say someone else will take command instead. With all general-level commanders in the United States, areas with United States military presence like Korea, Japan, and Germany will temporarily lack such commanders. This could easily cause confusion. If something unexpected happens, with no one to take charge, the confusion may increase. Additionally, all of America's general-level commanders will meet at Quantico Marine Corps Base in Virginia on September 30th. Although it's unlikely to happen, if someone were to attack that place, it would be almost the same as wiping out the entire military leadership. The very fact that this kind of information has been leaked is a major threat to United States security. In any case, there are various interpretations about the background of this emergency meeting. It mainly comes down to 3 points: war preparations, mass dismissal of generals, and United States government shutdown measures. Some are strongly raising concerns that the background of this order to summon all generals goes beyond a simple internal personnel issue and may indicate that the United States is actually preparing for war. Recently, President Trump has strongly vowed to eliminate the major drug cartels based in Venezuela. This isn't just rhetoric. Real military preparations have led the international community to be on high alert. Looking at the current deployment of the United States military, there have been several indications supporting that possibility. 3 Aegis destroyers from the United States 4th Fleet and 3 amphibious assault ships have been deployed to northern Caribbean waters. Nuclear-powered submarines have created a small, lethal naval task force. Since this is not just a simple maritime patrol, but a force that can switch to combat operations at any time, there is growing analysis that this move is directly aimed at Venezuela. The Air Force's movements are unusual. Several F-35 stealth fighters have already been deployed to bases near Venezuela, and there is growing interpretation that this is not just for simple air training, but more likely in preparation for precision strikes. That's because forward deployment of stealth fighters is not easily done unless a surprise strike on a target is being considered. On September 8th, former Secretary of War Pete Hexes and Joint Chiefs Chairman Dan Kane visited Puerto Rico to inspect United States military units. Puerto Rico is a strategic outpost with the entire Caribbean within its operational range, and if a military operation against Venezuela were to be carried out, it would inevitably be used as a key base. The fact that the highest-ranking United States military leaders personally visited the site, combined with the announcement of this emergency mobilization order, is adding weight to the speculation that preparations for war are underway. United States military media report rumors that President Trump may consider a military strike on drug cartel strongholds deep in Venezuela. The United States has a history of viewing drug issues as national security concerns and conducting military operations abroad. There is increasing speculation that the United States may use cartel eradication as a pretext to launch a major military operation to destabilize or remove President Maduro's regime in Venezuela. Given these circumstances, it's likely the recent order to summon all generals is preparation for a sudden military operation against Venezuela, not just a routine meeting. If the United States actually takes action, it is suggested that not only could there be major political upheaval within Venezuela, but the security landscape of the entire Caribbean and South America could also change significantly. Let's take a look at the part related to the power of the generals. Herses, the United States Secretary of War, has been leading a large-scale reshuffle of the military leadership since the beginning of his term. He was determined to reorganize the military differently from the current system. He chose to dismiss key United States military leaders, including Charles Brown, the first Black Joint Chiefs Chair, and Lisa Franchetti, the first female Chief of Naval Operations, regardless of their terms. He also announced a plan to cut the number of generals and admirals by about 20%. He kept demanding broad reductions. He ordered a 20% cut in National Guard general officers, with similar pressure for at least a 10% reduction in each combat command's generals. Considering these developments, some analysts see this emergency meeting as part of broader steps toward major personnel changes. Anxiety is especially high in the military. General officers are key figures who oversee operations in each military district, and if a large number of them are dismissed after being gathered together like this, it could immediately create a leadership vacuum. Even with replacements, new commanders will need significant time to understand the battlefield. Therefore, at this point, enforcing such measures is being interpreted as either a deliberate military restructuring or an internal loyalty check. As a result, there is growing speculation that this move is not just a simple meeting, but could be a prelude to a massive personnel reshuffle that shakes the entire foundation of the United States military organization. This emergency summons was issued right before the United States government shutdown. If Congress doesn't agree on the budget by midnight September 30, the United States government will shut down. Fierce debates are ongoing in the United States Congress between ruling and opposition parties over the budget bill. To prevent this, Congress must pass a short-term funding bill or all 12 annual budget bills. With limited time for the full budget bills, a short-term funding bill is the only real option. The Democratic Party is being uncooperative in budget talks with the Trump administration, so the short-term funding bill will likely fail. Former Secretary of War Haig Sissow urgently called the generals, sparking speculation it was linked to the shutdown. These speculations don't make sense. Gathering all United States generals worldwide is unrealistic. Also, when a video call would suffice, summoning them to the United States seems especially significant. Among the three issues currently being discussed, none of them are enough of a reason to summon all the generals to the United States. There is significant concern. This emergency summons isn't just a United States issue, it's also causing major unrest among its allies. NATO member countries are on high alert over the sudden summoning of all generals, wondering if the United States is preparing new war plans. Japan, South Korea, and Germany are also in a similar mood. Military authorities and government agencies in each country are holding emergency analysis meetings to determine what specific message the United States will deliver. It seems that the allies are also quite worried. There are even talks that security policies in some regions might change. South Korea is no exception. And there are concerns at home and abroad that moving the United States Forces Korea Command to the United States mainland could create a security gap. Major German and European media report on this daily. In Germany, this gathering is seen as more than a meeting. It may signal a major shift in global security. Currently, allied countries mainly have two common reactions. There are concerns that this measure is a step toward preparing for war, increasing the possibility of military conflict. Also, it is analyzed that this move has a strong political character, aiming to control the entire military in connection with the internal political situation in the United States, such as the budget shutdown. The international community already takes this seriously. We'll learn more on September 30th. What are your thoughts on the situation? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.